Good afternoon. I'm very happy here to start the afternoon sessions. Even if it's the top title, it's technical sessions, it will not be so much the technical session. It's more a session about a pilot where we want really to start to exchange data using Datex II between three different operators located in three different countries, and providing the data and information which is exchanged afterwards into three different services which are driven by the different countries. So it means really using Datex II as the traveler for exchanging data and information for traffic management purposes, but also for traveler information services. So, yes, it works. What I want to do is I would like to give you a short overview about the need. What do we need here in our triangle between the countries of Austria, Slovenia, and the northern part of Italy? What is the need? Why do we need here to improve the current situation? What is the history? There had been already done something on those things. I would like to speak about the current situation and then really running into the details, looking on the one hand on the data exchange, on the other hand on the georeferencing, but also have a look on the end user services, and then hopefully giving a short outlook what will be next. Coming to the need. Where are we located? It's located here. I think you see it very easily. It's over here. You see here two corridors, two European corridors. The one is the Baltic-Adriatic corridor. The second one is the Mediterranean corridor. This edge, what I'm speaking about, it's more or less, it's the link between Southern Europe and Eastern Europe. So here it's really important to have a very accurate and detailed traveler information, but also traffic management services out. And we have there a lot of traffic jams, especially in the vacation time, when all the tourists are going on the one hand to the seaside or going to the valleys for skiing and so on. We have traffic jams. This is already tradition. We know those things. But we also have extreme weather conditions. Here, this is an example. This picture is from Hungary. We had a snowstorm 1 year ago, a little bit more than 1 year ago, where really the whole motorways have been blocked. And at that time, also the border was closed between Austria and Slovenia. Nobody was informed about that. There was no information between the different traffic management centers. It just happened. And more, we have the ITS directive. I think also this is well known. We see here in the specifications or delegated regulations, to be more precise, we see that here Datex II and data exchange is one of the topics. And the most recent event, this just a few months ago, we had a blizzard in Slovenia. It was the area of Postojna. There it was really ice. It was ice rain. Everything was frozen. The whole city was covered with 10 centimeters thick ice. There was no possibility for really traffic and traveling there around. And I can tell you, there are more important things to do in such a situation than to give the neighboring country a call and saying, look, we have a problem here. So here we need to have automatic solutions like exchange of data, exchange of information using existing protocols. And this need was already identified some years ago. So here on 5th of August 2009, there was already a memorandum of understanding signed by the motorway operators from Slovenia, which is STARS, from Austria, which is ASFINAG, and the Italian operator Autovie Venete, together also with Autostrada per Italia. And it was very clearly stated there, we want to implement procedures and means of communication for a mutual electronic exchange of national traffic information. So there was already something signed. What happened? As usual, nothing. But now I need to say it's time really to do something. The one thing is, yes, we have a political willingness. We don't have the tool, but it's nice to be in the newspaper and to show something. Yes, we want to cooperate. But the thing really to do it is something different. And what we as well have in that area, it's a communication from the European Commission. It's a so-called Danube strategy. There is a strategy, the Danube strategy, where you have the priority area 1B, which is the land transport. It's everything what is going on land, and there you have also something dealing with ITS, exchange of data, exchange of information. And there is mentioned already one project, which is called EDITS. And lucky us, the Danube strategy already was speaking about EDITS. Even EDITS was not implemented. Nobody would know about EDITS. But we used that possibility saying, okay, then let's do something which is called EDITS, and let's start implementing a pilot really on exchanging data and information for providing, at the end, services to the end users. This must be the main aim of our work. And if we look on that region, we see that there are already a lot of national services around. We have here the Promet service in Slovenia. We have here a graph, which is called TRIM. We have also services in Italy. We have Kira, which is a system and service operated in Hungary. We have some small services in Bratislava. We have several services in Czech Republic. I mentioned here one, which is IDOS, which is for public transport. We have here in Austria, we have the graph integration platform and GIS system, and based on that, we have for whole Austria multimodal traveler information service called VAO. But everything, it's a national service. For all those services, we tried to be multimodal, to look on all modes. And what we now set up, it's in this EDITS project to say, okay, let's focus really on exchanging data on the one hand for the individual transport, but on the other hand also for public transport. I will focus now on the individual transport, as this is here Datex II, which we did in the triangle, or which we are doing in the triangle between Austria, northern Italy, and Slovenia. So if we look on the pilot, we see here mainly the motorway network in this triangle area between Asfenag, Autovie Venete, and Dars. We already heard that the big problem, or one of the big points, is on the one hand I can exchange the data, but if I can't locate the data, then I have a problem. And we are facing the situation that we have really different graphs in the different countries. I will come to that later on. But what we said and what we decided in EDITS is that on the one hand, we are exchanging the data for the GIS systems, which we call the EDITS GIP, EDITS Graph Integration Platform. We're exchanging the GIS data. On a separate layer, we are exchanging the EDITS service-related data. EDITS service-related data, these are traffic conditions. If this is public transport, if this is individual transport, we do not care. And here, one of the protocols, one of the carriers, it's Datex II. In total, as you can see, what we decided here in our triangle, now looking on individual transport, we decided to exchange data on the webcam information, static rest area information, weather warnings, and the level of service. What is the current service quality? What is the current traffic status? Based is everything on the deployment guidelines, even if it's not easy way. We're using the deployment guidelines as a basic. And we see here the implementing bodies, as already mentioned. As stated and as said, the georeferencing is the one critical thing. What we have in all the different countries, and here I'm first of all looking also on the other countries, we see that we have very different GIS systems, national GIS systems. We have a Sabaket system here in Czech Republic. We have a Kira system in Hungary. We have the GEP system in Austria. All of them are no commercial graphs. These are national graphs. What we defined and what we did, it's really to make a document really a translator of the different GIS systems so that we can make our connectors really to a central database so that we can exchange the different links, the different information, and that we can enrich our own databases also with the GIS data of the neighboring countries. Within the triangle, the situation is a little bit different. We have again a national graph in Slovenia, which is Promet. We have the national graph in Austria, GIP, and Austria-Slovenia-Italy is using a commercial graph. We said, of course, we can also rely on this edit GIP format, but we decided for the time being really to focus on the TMC locations, so that we are doing the georeferencing on the TMC locations, especially as we are focusing first of all on the motorways. There we have the TMC locations. And then in a later step, when the pilot will be finalized, we hopefully will make the next step really on harmonizing the GIS systems. But this is a separate step. So first of all, we are looking on the TMC locations. We are looking, we are taking XY coordinates and combining them with additional information like the name, a location, aerial code, and so on. Data exchange itself, we are setting up 3 FTP servers at the 3 operators, and we clearly defined our protocols, what to exchange. We are making the metadata information, what is in, what to be exchanged. And as you have seen on the very first, or one of the first slides, that there is also weather information in, we identified that within the weather information, it's a little bit tricky. It's not that clear. So what we did for the weather information, we agreed on a coding scheme. This is very important, so that we agreed to understand each other, and especially by looking on Datex II, if you're performing that within your network, you have your coding scheme. With agreeing with other partners, this is something which will not happen just from now to tomorrow. It's something for discussions, having the technicians sitting together and agreeing on those topics. Coming to the end user services, there are already end user services existing, which is this Promet service. At ASFINAG homepage, you will see a service. At the Austria-Slovenia-Italy homepage, you will see a service. And what we are doing is really to provide this static road information, dynamic road information, weather information, parking information, to provide those data also from the neighboring operators afterwards in our existing services. So even if it's a pilot, we want to exchange data, but if everything fits, we expect that by end of this year, we will have our local, national services improved with data also coming from the neighboring countries, from the neighboring operators. Here it's just an example from the ASFINAG service, where you have already, if you are going from A to B along a stretch, where you already get your information about obstacles, about hazards, about some events on your road. The next steps and what we are doing currently is really to establish this data exchange and having this set up until June this year, end of June. We want to use the summer break where we have events, where we already know about the events because of the traveling season from the tourists. There we want to have the data exchange to be tested in real conditions. And starting with September, we want to show those services. So hopefully we are prepared for the upcoming winter season, really to provide services also about dangerous weather situations in neighboring countries. But of course, everything shall also be a preparation for hopefully starting Crocodile Corridor by end of this year, we will see. So if we are going for the Crocodile Corridor, there we would have 15 different countries in Eastern Europe, really with the plan to implement Datex II node, exchange data between the different countries, and really to provide, hopefully, sustainable services by the end of the project and afterwards. Thank you for your attention.